Hi, welcome to the Rittner Floral School in Boston, Mass. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure to welcome you into one of our classrooms today. The purpose of this demonstration, well, sometimes people get into preconceived notions and they fall into a rut when they're doing their floral designing. They feel after a while that only certain kinds of materials will work with other kinds of materials. Well, today we're going to show you a demonstration where we're going to deliberately pick materials and mix them together that you normally wouldn't expect to work together. I think you'll find that this may be an eye-opener to you in terms of the kinds of combinations that you can play with in your design. So I hope you sit back and really enjoy this demonstration. We start off with a very, very simple container. Our container is essentially a plastic one with a block of foam in it. And we're going to use some very interesting mixtures of material. The first thing that we're going to be playing with is this. This is called equisetum. Equisetum. Equisetum is also known as horsetail. It is a very, very neat product. We sometimes consider it to be a foliage, but it's not a foliage in the sense that it covers mechanics. Rather, it's very, very structural, very architectural. We've taken a little decorative wire and we've tied it together on the top. This is going to be used to create height in our design. So by taking our equisetum, notice how immediately how tall this design can be. It becomes taller, becomes more important, simply with the placement of this material. Now let's play with some other things. This is one of my favorite flowers. One of my favorite flowers. This is called Protea. Protea. It's considered an exotic flower, a tropical flower. I think it's kind of interesting. And the neat thing about this particular Protea is it's fuzzy. It's actually a little fuzzy and furry inside. Some people like them, some don't. Many people take the view that when you're using tropicals, you can only mix tropicals together. Not so. We can mix tropicals with some other things, and we're going to do just that in this design. So let's take our Protea and work it in. And we're going to place it right next to our equisetum. And then let's mix this with something else. You know, sometimes people feel that only the tropicals can work together. How about mixing it with a rose? The rose is one of our most popular flowers. It's our national flower. People love roses, so why not? Let's take a rose and work it in. And then let's go back to our Protea and add several more Protea to our design. And I am deliberately going to mix my roses and my Protea together. Let's place one over here on this side. And then we'll take another one of our Protea and place it over here. So notice how this design is gradually developing. We're adding materials together, and so far we've got an interesting mix of some equisetum, a few of our Protea, and a rose. But now let's go in a totally different direction and use something that you absolutely wouldn't expect to be mixed with equisetum, Protea, and rose. Look at this. Aren't these gorgeous? These are gardenias. Gardenias. They are made available to us courtesy of San Martin Roses, SMR, in San Martin, California. Aren't these incredible? Not only are they incredible to look at, but my viewer, they smell really great. They have a wonderful, wonderful fragrance. And San Martin Roses definitely produces some incredible things, including some wonderful gardenias, some incredible stephanotis. We love using their product here at Rittner's Floral School. Well, let's play with some of these gardenias and work that into a design. Now, normally, people think in terms of gardenias as being something that you use in bridal bouquet work. And certainly we do. However, why not consider working a little outside the box and using some of our gardenias not in a bridal bouquet, but in this context, in a vase arrangement. And I'm taking my gardenias, these are nicely tailored for us, and we're taking the stems and putting them right in carefully into our foam. So I'm taking this and placing it so that my stem is right into my foam. Now that's an interesting combination, isn't it? Equisetum, Protea, roses, and gardenias? Yeah, why not? Think out of the box. You'll come up with some more interesting combinations that way. Now let's continue our composition. We've got one rose here, but generally one rose is fine. Two roses are even better. And how about another one? Let's add a third rose to it. And notice now this is gradually bulking up, and we're getting a really, really interesting effect through our mixture. So far we're coming down like this. Now let's get dramatic. And to get dramatic, we're going to take another rose and let's place it out over here. So we're coming up with something that really gives us an interesting, rhythmic kind of flow to it. We could stop at this point if we wanted to, my viewer, but our flowers here generally have pretty straight stems. Our equisetum is pretty straight. So let's come up with something to give us counterpoint. And to come up with counterpoint, one of my favorite materials, curly willow. Curly willow. And we can take our curly willow, place it over here, and this is going to give us kind of a juxtapoint and juxtaposition to our very, very straight equisetum. And of course, while we're at it, let's not forget, how about some kiwi? Here's a little piece of kiwi vine. And so we're going to work that into our design as well. And that gives us a nice kind of curved effect to give us contrast with the very, very straight equisetum stem. To cover our mechanics, really, really easy. We're going to take a little bit of sheet moss and place it in here so that our mechanics are nice and clean and covered. And we have something that is really pretty, interesting, and fun to make. So notice, my viewer, a few pieces of our sheet moss carefully inserted, worked in here. We already have some around the back side of our foam, and we've got our mechanics nicely covered. What do you think? Easy, quick, and yet notice the juxtaposition of materials. Equisetum, Protea, roses, Gardenias, all in a vase arrangement, along with our curly willow and kiwi. I hope, my viewer, that you've enjoyed this brief presentation. At Rittner's Floral School, we enjoy going and playing with all kinds of combinations of materials. At Rittner's, we have long courses, short courses, we have day programs, we have evening courses, and our styles range from classical to contemporary and, yes, even way out. We hope you enjoyed this brief presentation today, and I hope that it's gotten you thinking in terms of coming up with interesting combinations of materials, and think out of the box in terms of your designing. Thank you for coming in and visiting with us today.